It's time for
On the Victory Homefront.
With Jamie. It's early May, 1942. Americans across the country are lining up outside schools, in hallways, and gymnasiums, waiting their turn. Because for the first time, rationing isn't something they've only heard about, it's something that they're now stepping into. Hello to all the Rosies and Homefront Joes out there, and welcome back to another episode of On the Victory Homefront. Over the past couple of episodes, we've followed the buildup. First the awareness, then the instructions, and at the end of April, Americans were told to take stock of the sugar in their homes, to measure it, to account for it. But now, in early May 1942, they're no longer preparing, they're showing up. Registration began on May 4th, 1942, and it continued over several days. Across the country, it takes place primarily in local schools. So let's paint the scene. Classrooms, hallways, gymnasiums, places usually filled with students are now filled with adults and families waiting in line. It's familiar, but different. And the people running this process aren't distant federal officials. They're local. They're school teachers, principals, volunteers, and they sit behind desks, calling names, asking questions, and writing things down. So for many Americans, the person handling their registration is someone they already know. This is a national system carried out at a local level. And by the time people arrive, they're expected to be ready. They've already been instructed to know exactly how much sugar they have at home. So this isn't the moment to figure it out. It's the moment they're reporting it. Families arrive together usually, but it's one adult, often the parent, that speaks for the entire household. And every person in that household is to be accounted for. Adults, children, even infants. And one by one, the registrar records the members of the household. So what's on the form? Well, the form would include names of each person in the household, ages, their address, totaling the number of people in their household, and most importantly, the amount of sugar on hand. Applicants are required to declare how many pounds of sugar they currently have at home. Now, don't forget, sugar sales stopped April 28th. April 27th was their last day that anybody could go into the store and purchase sugar. Why? Well, check out my last episode and I explain the reason behind this and why it was important as we reached the registration dates. And why does the number of sugar that you already have at home matter? Well, because it will affect when that household is allowed to buy more. It also lets the government know how much sugar is currently out there. This is for fairness. This is to know how much sugar is out there and how much is expected to go out for the future. And then at the bottom of the form, there's a statement. And the person registering the household is expected to certify that what they've reported is accurate and truthful. So this isn't casual. This is official. So when people report what they have, we need to report it down to the pound. And if a household has more than the allowed amount per person, they may have to wait before they can buy more. And that is for fairness. And this fairness depends on honesty. Then, at the end of the process, after every family member has been accounted for, something new is issued, War Ration Book 1. And each person in the household receives their own book. It is a small paper-bound booklet that's filled with stamps. These stamps represent future access. It's controlled, it's limited, and it's shared across the country. And for the first time, rationing is no longer abstract, a thought. It's something that you're holding in your hands. Now, for many Americans, this is a new kind of civic moment. It's organized, structured, purposeful, but not effortless. Lines form, people wait, questions are asked, and yet across thousands of communities, the process moves forward. It's not chaotic, it's not panicked, but it is serious. Now, at the same time, stores are preparing for what comes next because soon customers won't be paying with just money. They have to present their ration books, tearing out stamps, following rules that didn't exist just a week before. So the next time their customers walk through those doors, it will not be the same. And those clerks at the stores need to know what is expected and what each customer can get. It really comes down to their level. They are going to be the ones that are going to be purposely carrying the rationing out. And registration for book one, it doesn't just limit what people can buy, but it changes something just as important. It establishes the system. From this point forward, rationing is here. Registration started May 4th, and the first day of sugar ration began May 5th. Book one really kind of sets the tone for the rest of the war. If this system didn't work, then the fairness of distribution of goods would be compromised. So this was a major point in rationing for the duration of the war. So in early May 1942, Americans didn't just hear about rationing at this point. They were standing in line for it. They registered for it, and they walked home with it in their hands. And next week, we're going to step into that next moment. The first day rationing actually takes effect, and we'll look at what that day looked like, how the ration books were used, and when the stamps came into play, and what exactly those stamps could get you. Thank you all for joining me for this episode of On the Victory Homefront. I hope you'll join me next week as we continue this journey into rationing of 1942. Please share this episode with anyone you think might be interested. And until next time, my friends, remember, victory is in the everyday. See you next time on the Victory Homefront.